All right, I've got another junior church lesson for you today. But before we get into the story, first let's have some singing. We're going to do two songs today. The first one is Trust and Obey, a song that we haven't learned together very much, but you need to learn it, and it's a good song, and my girls are going to sing it for you. The second song is a chorus, God Will Take Care of You, and we're going to do that one at the end of the lesson after the story. So enjoy the singing, and then we'll have our story.
When we walk with the Lord in the light of His word, what glory He sheds on our way. While we do His good will, He abides with us still, and all who will trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus, but to trust and obey.
Okay, you ready for today's story? Today's story is a well-known Bible story, and it's an exciting one. It's a story of Jesus feeding thousands of people with just a little boy's lunch. Here's the story. The disciples had just returned from going around villages preaching and healing the sick. They'd also heard the news that John the Baptist had been executed by Herod Antipas. Jesus and his disciples got in a boat and sailed to a remote place. A large crowd, many of them pilgrims on their way to the Passover feast in Jerusalem probably, watched the boat and followed it around the coast on foot to meet Jesus. That's how badly they wanted to see him. Jesus went up into the hills and taught them. He spent time healing the sick. There were around 5,000 men in the crowd, and plus probably some women and children. We don't know exactly how many people were there, but there were a lot. And Jesus had been healing lots of people, and so it's no wonder that they wanted to come see Jesus, because if they were sick or if they knew someone that was sick, if they knew that if they could just see Jesus, he would heal them. Well, late in the afternoon, the disciples urged Jesus to send the crowds away to nearby farms and villages so they could buy food and find lodging, places to stay. There's nothing to eat here, they're saying. And Jesus is telling them, why don't you feed them? They're supposed to feed them? Well, turning to Philip, he asked, Philip, where can we buy bread to feed all these people? And Philip says, it would take over half a year's wages to buy food for this many people. It'd take over half a year to work to make enough money to buy food for all these people. How are we going to have the money to do that? Do you think Jesus knew what he was going to do? The Bible says he did. He just was asking them to test their faith. Well, one of Jesus' disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. There's a young boy here who's got 5 barley loaves and a couple fish, but what good is that among so many people? It's just a small boy's lunch. And Jesus says, well, why don't you have everybody sit down on the grass in groups of 50. And Jesus took the fish, the 5 loaves, looked up to the sky, and gave thanks for the food. Then he broke off pieces, and his disciples handed them out to the crowd. And you know what? The disciples gave out food so much. They gave out so much food. They gave out food until everyone was stuffed. And there were 12 baskets left over of food. Out of one small boy's lunch of 5 loaves and 2 small fishes, Jesus created enough food for the whole crowd, thousands of people, and some left over. Well, immediately Jesus told the disciples to get in the boat, go to the other side ahead of him, while he dismissed the crowd. Jesus did that, and then he went off to the hillside to pray by himself. That's a great story. It tells us of Jesus's wonderful power. It tells of the fact that Jesus cares for us and cares for others. And it tells us of the fact that even something small, when used by Jesus, like the little boy's lunch, can be made into a great thing. Do you have something that you could let Jesus use? We're going to have one more song now. My girls are going to sing, God Will Take Care of You. If you know it, sing along with them.